I was riding my bike, combining that with a cycling workout, and was just riding down Unquity Road towards our house, and I was on a slight decline, so I was going, on the bike about almost 30 miles an hour, and she made a left turn, essentially right into my path.
They told me to find someone to watch the kids and to get into Boston as soon as possible. When I actually got to see him, he was intubated and heavily sedated. And they had determined that he had 2 broken ribs, and they didn't believe he had any other injuries. They had done a CT scan of his brain and thought everything was intact. And as the days moved on, he became more and more alert and talking more and more, and then I started to feel like, okay, this is gonna be okay.
Discharged from a Boston hospital with the diagnosis of a severe concussion, Mike was ordered to take it easy and rest quietly for a few weeks. For April, it quickly became an uneasy return home.
It's hard to describe. His personality was just completely not him. He was very aggressive, very short-tempered. Given the state of mind that Mike was in, I didn't think that there was going to be much opportunity for me to convince him to willingly go to a hospital again. And he kept saying, "You're crazy, I'm fine, but I'll go to B.I. Milton just to prove you wrong that I am fine." We got there and we were greeted by Deirdre, and immediately he said, "My wife is crazy. I don't know why she's doing this. She's absolutely out of her mind. I'm fine, but I'm here because she made me be here. Can we move this along?" And Deirdre kind of said, "Okay, what's going on?"
So I knew that she knew him better than I did. So I never would have gotten nearly as much clinical information if she wasn't there. So it's very important to me to get to know the family and the person.
In dealing with people that are acutely ill, there are almost always family members who are suffering also. And our job is not only to treat the person that's ill, but to try to soothe the anxiety of the family members.
And I looked at him, I thought he was kind of a Cheshire cat. He knew all the answers, and so I more or less went along with that. He did have some insight and understanding, but obviously it was very blunted and fragmented. You've got a head injury. I'm concerned about this. We've got to do an MRI. Let us do some testing.
To prove that he was fine and that his wife was overreacting, Mike agreed to the MRI. It revealed multiple brain bleeds.
My response was, "Oh, thank God." And I immediately realized that probably sounds crazy, but I felt like we have an answer. Now we know how to move forward.
So I said, don't listen to anybody unless you hear it from me or from Dr. Hodgman.
Dr. Mahoney and Dr. Hodgman were absolutely critical in helping me get through this. And Dr. Mahoney, I literally had him on speed dial. He was our advocate, he was our healthcare provider, he was my personal support system. That personal care and that personal touch and the time that he took to walk me through this process and guide me and really be a support system for me. And the same with Dr. Hodgman. Without them, we would never have gotten into Spaulding.
You knew this story would have a happy ending. But this is not the end. You see, just a few weeks later, April and Mike would return to BID Milton.
So I had pneumonia when Mike had his accident. I was recovering from pneumonia. Then the accident happened, and obviously I was running on adrenaline, and I was my very own last concern. So I figured I would tough it out and wait it out, and then I was crawling to the bathroom because I couldn't walk. And that's when Mike intervened.
But it became obvious that she needed care, and she needed something right away, so Beth Israel it was.
We entered the emergency room. I sort of sat there all sad and sick.
She was way younger than the average age of patients I take care of in the hospital. She looked quite ill.
They brought me in, did some blood work, realized my heart rate was really high, realized very quickly that I actually had sepsis.
We need to act fast because sepsis has a high mortality.
It was Dr. Farouk described to me that this was a blood infection and could kill me. And I spent 5 days and was so well taken care of. And the nurses were unbelievable. Dr. Farouk was unbelievable.
It's nice to get positive feedback from patients like April, but truly it's the culmination of, I think, the passion, the hard work and compassion of each and every team member here.
The care that we got at BI Milton was beyond just health care. It was really care of the whole family unit. And maybe that sounds a little hokey, but in my situation, it was absolutely critical. And so it's just a fundamental part of a community hospital that I just think is so important.